David Moyes thought so too. Where do you put your hands, he said? Tie them behind your back? Anybody who's played football or been around the game knows it was a good goal. I'm a football man. I've watched and played it all my life, and it looked good enough to me. Declan Rice went even further, saying, he's knocked the ball into my hand. If you're running with your arms like that, with the rules as they are, now it's a handball, but it's not intentional. It's a kick in the teeth. I think it's the thoughts of every Premier League player, not just me. Pretty much everyone doesn't want to have VAR in the game. There have been so many decisions this season that have been absolutely crazy. Rob, I'll come to you first. Your reaction.
Well, as Shaka said, by the letter of the law, it's the right decision, because any time it hits an attacker's hand in scoring a goal, it's handball. But the law is stupid, because that's never a handball anywhere else, or if they don't score. There's nothing he could do about it. It's completely accidental. The Sheffield United player heads it onto the arm of Declan Rice. So it's the law that needs to be changed. It's nothing to do. VAR actually got it right, according to the letter of the law. But the law is wrong, and that's where it needs to be changed, and it needs to be looked at again. And it all came about because Llorente scored in that game against Man City. I think it was in the quarter-final of the Champions League. And then we said, you have to change the rule because it hit Llorente's hand and went in the goal. And they got through on the basis of that. So it's got to change.
You can understand Rice's frustration, can't you?
Yeah.
But
Just to add to what Robbo said there, the discussion started with Neymar, Barcelona against Juventus. What Champions League final was that? Was that 2014?
2015. Burley.
Where Neymar accidentally had the ball onto his own arm, and the deflection deceived Buffon, and that started the discussion as to whether you can or should be able to score a goal in that manner. And then the kind of broad overarching thought was you can't score a goal with your arm, or it can't play a part in your scoring a goal. But in this circumstance, and Rob was actually absolutely right, Declan Rice is running quite normally. He doesn't make his body bigger in any kind of way. It's headed into his arm by an opponent. What's he supposed to do? And then the other grey area is, why is it a handball? Because the ball ends up in the back of the net. It's either a handball or it's not. You know, what comes of it 30 seconds later should not matter at all.
Pretty strong from Rice, wasn't it? Saying no Premier League player at the moment wants VAR. Do you think he's right?
Well, I'm glad he's the town crier for every Premier League player out there. So I'm sure there's one or two who don't mind VAR. And I don't agree with any of these laws. I've talked about the offside law is going to have to be rewritten because of technology. This handball law has to be rewritten. But the goal correctly is chopped off. Nobody is whining about VAR at the moment like the English or anybody involved with the English Premier League. And I get it's frustrating, but here's the deal. As frustrating as it is, you know these laws before you come into the game. So if it unintentionally hits your hand and it has a material effect in a goal being scored, it's not a surprise to you at the end of the game that the goal is going to be chopped off. Because West Ham had a similar goal chopped off 2 or 3 weeks ago at Southampton when Mikel Antonio, the ball hit his hand. It went forward, they scored. They didn't cost them that game. They won that game at Southampton. They got the 3 points. But that goal was chopped off because that's the laws. Now, it's not a surprise. We know the law needs to be rewritten. We know the law needs to be looked at. But it's not a surprise. What surprises me is everybody coming out whenever something like this happens, whenever there's an offside and it's given off by millimetres, or there's an unintentional handball, people are crying as if the game's going to end. The world's going to crash. You knew that at the start of the season. You know it now. It's not the technology. It's not the referees. It's the laws of the game. It's not going to change at the minimum until the summer. So I don't understand why so many people are surprised about it. Frustrated, yes, but surprised.
And Moyes, Robbo, anyone who's been around football as long as he's had, it was a good goal.
Well, the trouble is, they'll get rid of they won't, but if they wanted to get rid of VAR, next season there was no VAR, every decision that was a wrong decision, they'd say, well, if we had VAR, that wouldn't have been a goal, or this would have been a goal. You know, they've been crying out for the referees to be better and get decisions right. They were crying out for VAR to come into the game so we got better decisions, more consistent decisions. Now when decisions go against them, they said, we don't want VAR anymore. And I think Moyes has got it wrong when he's saying this was a goal, because quite clearly with the laws, and as both have said in the studio,
Bob.
this had to be chalked off in the current laws.
Bob and Fred. It's Bob and Fred in the studio, Rob.
Yeah, Craig and Shaka, the bloke from IFAB.
What would have been a point turned into 3 for Sheffield United, and it leaves West Ham still in 16th place. 22 points, just 2 points, the margin of safety for them at the moment.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.